how can we collect information and prepare for change? The second step of our framework is to collect more specific information about the context and prepare for the change. We start out by learning about the organization, and we end with choosing the best interventions. The first step is to learn about the organization. The goal is to choose the right intervention, so we look for information that will help us. What don't we know? How does the organization really work? What interdependencies do we need to consider? Who benefits and who loses? When you understand how the change will impact everyone in the organization, you can better tailor the interventions to address these challenges. The goal in this part of the process is to learn more about the gap between the current state of the organization and the desired future state. In general, it is best to use multiple methods of data collection to get different perspectives. Examples of different methods include observations, questionnaires, interviews, focus groups, and database searches. From a psychometric standpoint, each method has its own strengths and weaknesses, and combining multiple methods allows us to balance the pros and cons of each one. We also need to assess people's readiness and desire for change. This might involve surveys or conversations with people at all levels of the organization. It might also involve measurement of management support for the change and any cynicism that exists as a result of previously failed changes. A force field analysis is one way of doing this. This process helps us identify forces that motivate change and forces that prevent it from happening. The fourth step is to share the information we've collected so far with stakeholders and get their input. This feedback helps us make better decisions about which interventions are best. It also helps us build support around the change process and motivate people to contribute to making it happen. To share feedback with stakeholders, follow these guidelines. Focus on only a handful of important topics and keep the length of the meeting to less than an hour. Use an agenda to keep the group focused on the topics at hand, and explain everyone's role in the meeting. Encourage people to share their thoughts and then provide them with plenty of opportunities to do so. Present your version of the change problem and explain your plan for solving it. Be sure to involve the audience throughout the entire meeting. This is a discussion, not a lecture. Ask them to discuss the information presented to them and choose the best options available. Armed with our stakeholders' feedback about which interventions are best, we would make an official decision and choose the best interventions. But what are interventions? We'll learn more about them in the next video.